Okay, here I'm going to show the Kicker solo-baric out of the box, go through its different design features, and run over some specs of the solo-baric series and the D series. I believe the C series, their specs are going to be almost identical, but they were a different. There was a different design, and I'll get to kind of what those are. Those were more of the C's were more. Of a traditional design, which is a cone glued to a voice coil, and then the tinsel leads taken down underneath, and the dust cap would cover that. So a pretty. I mean, that's almost how all subs worked. But this is a totally different deal. At the time, I think it was. I don't know if they were the first or if it was exclusive, but it was, if nothing else, very uncommon design. I did want to real quick show the enclosure, because that's a Kicker factory enclosure. You can see they really did a nice job on that. It's a double baffle front to flush mount the sub, 3/4 MDF all around. And then the double baffle on the front, that appears to be 1/2 inch MDF, but the actual where the sub attaches, that's 3/4. And then they polyfilled it. Now on the front of the sub here, I'll show the design features. It has it's almost a flat attach, but it's kind of an angle. There's like this little dish right here, and you can see this ring. This kind of sets up above where it's stitched in, but it's a little bit at an angle. But it's stitched. This whole thing is really just a dust cap, and I'll get to that when we get to the back. Not a foam surround. This is rubber surround, where most Kickers previous were the foam surround. Rubitex gasket. You can see it's a cast aluminum basket, and they milled the top, which gives it a real nice silver ring around the sub. Looks fantastic. I mean, this sub's 20 years old, and it looks like it was just pulled out of a box. I mean, they used good materials, and it's executed really well. Now I'll flip it over to the back so we can take a look at that. Really nice sub. They put push terminals, which is awesome. But previous to this, I mean, even the C series comps, those were spade connectors, and clearly marked, a positive. There's the ohms. These came in 2, 4, and 8 ohm, and then the negative on the total other side. But it's not hard to tell what you should be hooking up. I just think they did a really good job. You can see here just a wide open area that's vented. The coil's right back there. It's kind of hard to see to get light in there, but yeah, it's well vented. It looks to be not an extremely large voice coil. I want to say it's more than 2 inches. It's possibly a 2-inch coil, but I don't know. I want to say it's a little over 2 inches. But you can see here, the cone doesn't look like that on the front, and that's because this is actually a separate assembly that it's glued to, and I'm guessing that it's stepped like this to give rigidity. And then, other things, like, look at the tinsel leads. Look at how high quality they're coated, which, isn't necessary, but I would think that could serve a couple different purposes. One, you couldn't short out on them ever. And 2, just to protect from fraying. I mean, just really well done. And then just how it attaches here. I don't know. It's hard to get in there, but it's screwed up into the push terminal. It's got a little button head cap screw, machine screw. So, and then the voice coil is just it's really glued in there. You can see they used quite a bit of adhesive, which I'm fine with. It's nothing you look at, so why not go ahead and, it's better to have too much than not enough. And then of course Kicker, at the time, and sorry, this sub does have polyfill all on the back, because Kicker used quite a bit of polyfill in that factory enclosure. But it's their boot that covered the magnet. It just gives it a nice finished look. It doesn't have any functionality. And then on the back, the sticker, Kicker solo-baric, S12D. And then the old uniplate extended pole Stillwater Designs, you know, the backplate. And then you can, and an interesting design on the cast basket, where they're kind of swooped in one direction. The XPLs also, they believe they shared this basket. Also, at this time, they had, and I had just recently seen these. I didn't even know they existed, but they had a cast comp at the time. So it was kicker comp, and it had a cast basket, which I didn't even know those existed, but they did. I've seen a couple of them. I was sent a picture by a guy that I do quite a bit of business with, and he got his hands on one, and then shortly later I saw one on eBay, which is weird because I'd never seen one before ever. But they had to have been around the same time because it shared a lot of the design cues of the solo-baric. But it had a smaller magnet or motor, not as many ounces. Some of the specs on these, the 15D handled 750 watts in a 1.5 cube enclosure, sealed, and these are all sealed recommendation. Well, they say right in the manual, do not use it with ported, don't use it in an infinite baffle, don't use it in a 7th order bandpass box. Use it only in or a large sealed enclosure. Use them only in small sealed enclosures. The 12 handled 425 watts in a 0.88, but they say in the manual, if you want to use more wattage, up to 600, reduce the box volume to 0.66 cubes, which at the time, it's kind of was a revolution of smaller and smaller enclosures. So things were fitting in pretty small boxes, but for a 12 to be put in a 0.66, even at the time, that is a stupid small space. And they sound good doing it, and that's the thing. Generally, you start choking a sub off, and you're gonna lose output. You're gonna lose frequency response. It'll roll off more significantly at the low end. And this doesn't happen as much because these were specifically designed. In fact, the solo-barics are known to get really, really low for their size. The 10 could handle 300 watts, or no, 350 and up to 450. And if you put it in a 0.66, that was the 350. And if you put it in a 0.60 cubes, that's where you could get the 450 watts power handling. They also had an 8-inch, which handled 300 watts, and it required a 0.33 cubic box, that's just crazy small. Their efficiency was fairly good. It wasn't really high. It wasn't nearly as high as like the original XPL or a kicker comp, but the 87.7 for the 12, 89.3 for the 15. But you'll always see that efficiency go up when you go up in size of the driver. That's just that's pretty much any series of sub. You'll just see that, and that's just because of the increased cone area. You get greater output per input of wattage. Of course, efficiency goes down because the cone is heavier, but it's offset by the increased diameter and surface area of the cone. But yeah, these are the pretty cool subs. They look really good. They sound sweet. They're tight. They hit low. The frequency response in the 15 was 18 hertz to 100. The 12 is 20 hertz to 100. The 10 is 24 hertz to 100. And the 8, they're claiming 28 hertz to 100. And I've never seen an 8-inch sub that is listed as getting down to 28 hertz. I don't know. I guess I'd have to play around with them more to see if that's really the case. But I do know that they are well known for getting low and getting loud. So just really, really nice drivers. Like all the kicker products of the time, fairly bulletproof. You don't see these blown unless somebody stupid did something stupid, way overpowering them or having them in the net. Most commonly, it's going to be they put them in the wrong enclosure. They go, oh, ported's going to be way louder. Yeah, but these were designed for specifically the whole solo-baric thing. Is that it's a a sub that it mimics like an isobaric design, but with one driver. Which I don't know. Hi-Fi Vega could get into that better than I could, but because he runs a really cool box using an isobaric design, and it's with some Savard subs, and it's a really sweet box. And he goes through the whole build and really goes over that real well. So I'd steer you to his channel to get more information on that. But yeah, just really unique subs with unique design, and I think Kicker did an excellent job on this, and these are a classic, and for good reason. That's it.